In progress. Okay. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back to the slides. Okay. Yeah, we're still waiting for John and Reiko and Aaron to join, but they should. Okay. So Danielle, you like I'm like speechless. You got me. First time to Hankyu, you knock it out of the park, like on so many levels, right? And then I'm sure you're gonna tell me, you and John are gonna say, "Yeah, we knew it from the beginning. We knew it." So we we want to know the
I didn't
secret.
know it. I was hoping.
Oh, but you had it in your bones. You felt it in your bones, right? So
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you guys because I know you guys work so hard and you know, fantastic, fantastic. Definitely want to have a separate meeting, just confidential. Basically, like Ted, Reiko, and myself. Yeah, and
Sure.
here John's joining, so I'll get him on here. Um, hey John. Um, and break it down because uh, obviously what is the key to your success, because how do you sustain this, and this is obviously right what Ted is going to talk about today, and then going forward. So but yeah, fantastic job, well done, well done.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to seeing what to how we take it forward. Yeah. um and Yeah, he's getting set up here. But anyway, hey John, we're just talking a little bit about your success. Congratulations. Definitely want
Thank you.
to break it down, find the keys to success for you guys, and then with a view to take it forward. Yeah. Confidential
Mm-hmm.
meeting, just you and Danielle, Ted, and Reiko and myself. So
Okay.
yeah, we can schedule that a little bit later.
Yeah, I
Just
think it
to
would
let
be appropriate.
Yeah, yeah. Just to let you know, I had a very short meeting with Yohei Otani, Green Room, but he very keen to work with all of us, state of Hawaii. He's going to be big because they're just such a their role. Obviously is different. In terms of what your art is and the surf and all that, but getting into Japan, that's a key partner. Yeah. So
Well, what's the relationship between Green Room Hawaii and Green Room Japan?
So they're
Because Green
the
Room
same.
Japan is
Same company. Same company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same company?
Yeah, same company. Yeah. So
Okay.
in terms of Yohei is based here in Hawaii. He's basically the chief executor, but the owner, Kamayat-san, is very hands-on, and so but they do have a lot, of opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
and we're trying to see what we can do together, and keep learning. A partner of ours, D-Bed, and myself personally, I think you know him, Larry McCarthy, just sold his business. Chromaco and Black Sand Publishing is closing,
Yeah.
but he sold his business to Ken Unterman. So I'm looking forward to meeting Ken or Kent, Pictures Plus, and trying to keep that going. Larry's always going to be a good source, to be there. So we're going to keep in touch and just keep it going. But thanks to your success, we want to see how it keeps going and keep expanding as much as you folks want to do. Excuse me. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Deiko hasn't joined and Aaron hasn't joined, but let's get started just to move things along, and then we're recording. So we'll catch up as we go. So don't want to keep everyone. Okay, so I have to. You folks can see my screen, right? The
Yes.
right presentation. Okay.
Who else
we
is
just-
on the call, Lyle?
It's just you two, Ted, myself, Aaron, Lyle's supposed to join, and Reiko is supposed to join. But since we had the switch on the Zoom link, I think they're taking a bit of time. Yeah. So
Okay.
for now, if you both can mute yourselves, and then Ted will take over, and then we'll just get started. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Why don't we just jump into it? Ted, you wanna get started, and then I'll chime in when we mention. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Lyle, and thank you, John, Danielle. A lot of the things that we discussed, you're going to see some few pointers that I learned from you guys with your success. But today's webinar has two parts. The first part goes over some of the information that I gathered while I attended the Hankyu Fair for the past 3 years, and hope to provide some of those useful information if you are thinking of attending the fair next year, for the listeners of this webinar. I also spoke to a lot of the companies that attended the fair last month, spoke to them at the event and after the event to gather more useful information for you to learn and be prepared if you're interested in attending in the future. The second part is how to maintain the relationship you have with the Japanese customers you met at the fair and continue that momentum with them online. So this screen here, understanding Japanese consumer behavior. Not all, but a lot of the customers that we saw, and I know John and Danielle can relate to this, at the Hankyu Fair, they take their time when making a purchase. Sometimes, believe it or not, it can take days for them to make a final decision to purchase. But you have to understand that for them, your brand is brand new and foreign to them, and they want to make sure that they're buying something that's good. They want to talk to their friends. They probably want to do a little research and get to know you better, right? And we really saw that those businesses that really nurtured that relationship, small steps, and connected with them, even if there was a language barrier there, you can kind of feel. And of course, with the help of the translators, as a seller and a buyer, creating that sort of and nurturing that relationship really, I think helped a lot of the businesses that were successful at the fair. Next slide, please, Lyle. And when it comes to pricing factors, with Hawaii products being a premium product, a bit higher in pricing, and also yen being weak. A lot of people ask me, hey, is that going to be a negative effect in this experience? And with what we saw, with the lines and those success businesses, it really that really wasn't a factor on how we saw over the past, let's say, at least 3 years of being a premium product. Really, they're concerned, the customer's concern at the Hankyu Fair is that they really want and they're looking for a premium Hawaii-made product, and they can't get that anywhere else in Japan. Plus, when you attend this Hankyu Fair, if the creator, the owner of the business is there, they really can understand what the product is about. And I think that really, again, makes that big difference between being successful at this fair versus being sort of that average business sales result that we saw during the event and after. The next slide, under the Japanese customer buying cycle. This is very interesting and very important to know when selling to the Japanese. This may be similar to other markets, but we saw this buying cycle happen, especially at Hankyu Fair. The discovery phase, what that is before the event, maybe the Japanese customers saw an ad by Hankyu or saw their website, and recognize something that they've never seen before, but they're interested, right? Whether it's a brand or a product. So that's the discovery phase, phase one. They haven't bought anything yet. They're just discovered something that they're interested and on the Hankyu, for example, the website. Then the personal connection is when they actually go to the event, places like Hankyu, and where they can connect on a personal level. But again, they haven't purchased yet. And then after back and forth, the initial purchase happens. And a lot of the success stories that I've heard understood that process. And I also mentioned how they the buying behavior is that little by little it does take time, but it's the third phase that they actually make the initial purchase. And the next slide, please, Lyle. Then the word of mouth, the self-promotion happens, which can lead to having their friends and family members know a beginning of a loyal customer base is how we see it. And then after the event, they repeat these purchases because they know what the product's about. They saw it, they felt it, they spoke to the creator, let's say. They trust the brand. So then when there's a new line of products that come from that brand, they're very comfortable buying online and continuing and repeating that purchase. And again, hopefully next year, when you do attend the fair again, or for the first time, that these loyal customers will again come to the fair. And a lot of those customers that we saw last month are repeat customers. So those are a very sort of important customer base to hit, grab, and continue that relationship. Next slide, please.
If I can just add, definitely Hankyu is this environment. I think you all know that. In fact, your big customer that came, you met him before, right? He came to Hawaii, he found you at Hankyu, and that's just going to keep going. I think there's going to be a expectation that you'll be there, and definitely Reiko has so much to add on this, where she has many fans from all over Japan who come to Hankyu, and then they come to Hawaii, and et cetera, et cetera. So this is very, very valid. Yeah. Sorry, here's next slide. Okay. And if I can continue, just again, the importance of attending Hankyu, I think you all know, for Aaron is experienced, but for Danielle and John, you figured out, yes, your product does sell in Osaka, right? And to the Hankyu customer. And so that was a great first objective of validating a product. Generating revenue is secondary. It's obviously the business, so you need to do that. But if you can, generate revenue, which you all did very well, that's fantastic. And then engaging with customers, like Ted was saying, that's going to be important for your repeat, as well as the word of mouth and going on. And then, when the end is more manageable, people will start coming back, right? And but at the same time, if you can build up your online shopping, certain products that you could do, that would be very helpful for you to keep that engagement as well as revenue stream going. So, okay.
Lyle, did you have any other?
No, go ahead, Ted. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So
Thank
again, just following up, you got to be there. If you really want to take advantage of this opportunity, I honestly, out of all the businesses that I spoke to there and after, those that didn't attend, there was really nothing that I could get out of, whether it's obviously because they weren't there, but I just didn't see any sort of worth of investing their effort. Why is it important to be there? Because of all the things that you've gained, the interaction, and how they buy, as all the things that I just explained. You just have to be there. And not only that it will help you for the next attendance, but it's going to help you understand how Japanese people buy for your specific brand, right? That you will never be able to understand if you're just doing online or if you're just wholesaling your products. By you attending and creating that connection, not only the customers appreciate it, but a lot of the businesses that I spoke to appreciated that also. Next slide, please. Again, if you're an artisan, if you create things, manufacture things, in Japan, craftsmanship is very important, and it gives you the opportunity to if you're there, gives you the opportunity, and Danielle knows this the best, the opportunity to showcase your craftsmanship, authenticity, the originality of all of this. And again, it's that whole concept of creating your own by yourself, handmade, is very appreciated in Japan. A lot of the products that are well known in Japan as a Japanese product a lot of them become famous because of its craftsmanship. So there's that relationship between what we do here in Hawaii and what they do in Japan. It's very similar. So if you can relate to them in that same way, that, hey, we are coming from a foreign place, but we do have a common culture here. And that's why over the years, we see all these great connections between Hawaii and Japan. Is not just because Japanese people just plainly like or love Hawaii, but they feel that the culture similarity is there. And I think that's how a lot of the relationship between Hawaii and Japan has continued for so long. And those businesses that can understand that and communicate and relate to that is going to be very successful in the long term. Next slide, please. Identifying your popular products. Again, you got to be there to know this, right? I remember Danielle, John found out that a certain color sells better than others, right? I've met jewelry designers and clothing designers, apparel. They realize the sizing can matter a lot. What the size matters here in the States versus Japan, they need to rethink that. Even jewelry, right? The size of the ring, size of the hoops, and the customization of all of it. It may not be as important here, but it can be very important in Japan. And again, I keep emphasizing this, but the importance of being there, that firsthand experience, being there, knowing and communicating and learning, understanding that is not only going to help you continue this mission with the Japanese market, but create better products in the future. Next slide, please. And again, the businesses that I spoke to, the ones that prepared actually with whether they're working with a marketing company or not, or they just did it on their own. And because they had 10, 20 Japanese followers back in the day, and they had some kind of connection with them still, those that actually prepared before the event made some call outs to that small crowd of followers, let's say. A lot of them that did those little preparation, most of them, almost all that I spoke to, were very successful. Not only in sales, but getting more meeting more new customers there, right? Just that call out, reach out, and you being prepared before the event. Again, how much can you go? You don't have to have hundreds and hundreds of people that you need to reach out. It's really just even 10 to 15, 20 goes a long way when it comes to that event during those 5 or 2 weeks for some businesses. Being able to communicate, and then word of mouth again, telling their friends, because they're not going to be coming there alone, can double, triple, quadruple in size, and not only again in sales, but creating new customers in Japan. Attention to detail. I discussed this with Lyle in the past. I realized that packaging really matters. I didn't think it mattered too much. As long as it's authentic, Hawaii made, and it's a packaging from Hawaii, Hawaiian style packaging. It's authentic. So that's what my team's perspective was. Hey, leave it alone, leave it authentic. But those companies that actually took a little extra effort in how to present their product at their booth, how to wrap it up after the purchase, and a lot of the times doing follow-ups, right? Thank you, putting a little letter in there, or sending a digital recognition for their purchase. Even those small little details really seem to matter in this sort of experience. So I was surprised, to be honest, personally, to see a success from doing that. But a lot of the business again told me that they saw a lot of return purchase from doing those efforts, and has had a lot of good outcome from it. Next slide, please. And again, this is kind of a wrap up on the first part of this webinar, storytelling. I don't have to explain that. They want to know who you are. It's not really first the product that they want to know about. It's really if they're attracted to that brand or your brand or that product, first, before even considering purchase, they want to get to know you. What is this about? They've seen this product before. They've had great products similar to yours. Why yours? Right? And being a Hawaii product is a step, is an advantage. Don't get me wrong, it's a great advantage, but still, there are other Hawaii products that are similar too. Why yours? And that storytelling and sharing and being honest about where you come, your history, if that correlates to your storytelling, will go very far. Again, because the Japanese really appreciate family background, ancestry, very similar to how Hawaiian culture respects and take importance of that, and combining and appreciating those both cultural understanding can make you go far with retaining Japanese customers. And again, I just explained about craftsmanship and that cultural connection. Just be authentic and be real can get you to a very long-lasting relationship with the Japanese market. Next slide, please. So this is gonna be my favorite part, to be honest, as a marketing consultant. We're gonna talk about now how to prepare Japanese online sales in Hawaii. Basically, what do you gotta do now, right? After meeting these people in Japan, Japanese customers that are excited. They were very excited. If you can go to the next slide, Lyle. What do Japanese businesses that got this experience? We see, and we've been explaining 4 components. Now that you've done this, Hankyu Fair, what are the 4 things that you need to focus to start this task of continuing Japanese online sales? First, obviously, localize your website, translate, create a Japanese version of your website, or at least for now, create a few pages in Japanese, so that at least the people that you met can come, see who you are, and continue that relationship, and hopefully continue that purchase. It'll be great to have a translator create your about us, right? And what you're about. But there's ChatGPT 40, an AI that does great auto translation. Shopify also has tools and plugins that can auto translate your English website into Japanese. So there's no waiting here, right? You don't have to wait to get this started. There are abundant tools out there to create a Japanese version of your website. And then the second component is you got to market yourself again, right? You got to continue to build that marketing strategy tailored to your Japanese customers, all the things that you learned at the fair, what social media you were connecting with them, what were they using. We saw a lot of Instagram and Facebook going on at Hankyu. Plan that out, plan that out yourself, plan that out with us. And that's something that is very important to do, not only having a website, but you have to have a marketing strategy. Next slide, please. Then you have to consider, if you're going to sell online, customer service, right? You'll need to have that back and forth when the Japanese buy. Still, again, if they're gonna trust your brand and purchase online, they will still have questions to ask, right? Whether it's sizing, whether it's how long does it take to get there, what's the return process if I need to return your product. So there's going to be back and forth. So preparing for customer service will be vital to continuing long term with Japanese customers online. And then the fourth component is the shipping, right? You got to ship this out, and it's got to get there in a timely fashion, with hopefully with some strategy and thinking on coming up and exploring how to lower those shipping costs, right? And I've thought about this a lot over the years, and we do have some solutions on doing these things through our experience. So it's a bit of a disclaimer. This does not have to do with what DBET provides, but us as Hibiscus marketing agency, we can consult with you on how to go about lowering those shipping costs for your customers in Japan. Next slide, please. So again, the translation is very important. How do you optimize here? You come up with website translating it. And this is I think the most important when it comes to your website. As I said, it's not the product first, it's knowing who you are or knowing the brand, right? So with creating the About Us content is going to be key. We even recommend Hawaii companies to have that About Us content right up front on your homepage. Not the hero banner with product introduction, but who you are, you in action, or some sort of introduction, entrance point on getting to know more about you or your brand. Writing that is key also. But another way that we saw a lot of success is creating video content on how to explain that. Whether you're in action and video, creating your product, or even speaking, a simple 60-second introduction about what your brand is about. Having that type of video content up front will really sort of open up to the Japanese customers, create that trust, and if they relate to you, it'll be a great way to introduce yourself, especially if they've met you already, right? Mm-hmm. At Hankyu. Again, reinforcing who you are, and now they can connect with you, continue to connect with you online with text content or video content better. Can again better your sales online and continue that relationship. Next slide, please.
Yeah, if I can just interject real quick, I think Aaron does this already. You have videos of you making pens, right? And maybe the journey of like taking something unfinished and then creating this fine product. Danielle, definitely, I think you show your through your process the art, and so I think considering the customers are looking for really it's emotional aspirational benefit, right? It's a Hawaii thing. It's the ingredients, if you will, that you put together, and your magic sauce being an artist and creating something that really resonates with the customer at the end. I think showing that is fascinating. I myself, I'm a frustrated artist, and so if I watch somebody who actually does this for a living, and really it's such a beautiful thing, and I think how to engage with people along the way. It's like Aaron's like, wow, I found this great piece of wood. I'm going to make it into this, and that journey would be fantastic. The inspiration process, and then the end result, I think is very, very great, which I think you all know how to do. So just wanted to add that.
And following up on that, when we do discuss this with prospects and clients, do we need to spend thousands and thousands of dollars with this video production? I don't think so. It depends on how you represent your brand, right? And if you've done photo shoots and things of that nature before, the level that you need to be. But these days with social media, authenticity counts most, and maybe you may selfies and handheld video may be too low of a quality, but put a stand and prepare, you need do some preparation, but I don't think you need a video crew to create something like this. I think that'll translate more on who you are, on how true you are, and you're trying to connect. I think that tells more than creating a very clean professional video. Next slide, please. So when it comes to digital marketing advertising tools, again, as I mentioned before, with all the people that I've seen business-wise and also customer-wise, I saw a lot of Instagram and Facebook being opened on people's smartphones. And to me, it seemed like those two platforms for now should be considered and concentrated. And another part that was very interesting for us is those that prepared, before, or even or in action at the event, they were taking advantage of the C translation feature in Instagram, where they would post something in their language, which is English, but pointing to the Japanese Japanese followers. Hey, I'm here at Hankyu, this and that. It's written in English, but the Japanese customer end will have that C translation link that can be translated into Japanese right there and right then. So again, there's no need for a translator to do posts. Maybe you might want some advice and recommendation on Japanese hashtags, so that that you can get it even more effective on reaching the right people. But other than that, that C translation on your posts and even on your bio will automatically translate that into their language, so you can continue that communication. Though again, there weren't too many that were doing this at the event, but the ones that I met that were doing it right there, right then. They were a little more of a younger entrepreneur that I met that were a little more tech savvy, but they were communicating with their followers already that were coming to the event. And when they get a response in Japanese, they would press C translation and have it translated into English. So there was that two-way communication going on already at the event. So knowing that, you can take advantage of this now after the event, staying connected. You don't need to hire a Japanese translator or a staff to do this. You can do this now. So that was very interesting to know, even as a marketing agency, that this can happen now, and you do not need to even use some tool or translator to continue this communication or start. Next slide, please. Instagram shops and Facebook shops. I'm sure a lot of you are aware, but again, I just want to emphasize how effective this is. Every shop, it doesn't have to be Shopify. You could be on a different e-commerce platform. Simplifying the integration with Instagram shops, Facebook shops, makes it very easy to do. Basically, the idea is when people, your follower, whether they're in Japan or wherever they are, they come to your site, you can tag your product, they click on it, and they can purchase right there, right then within Instagram without flying over to your shop. And your inventory is integrated, connected to your Instagram and your shopping system. So you don't need to update after you sell on Instagram. It's all automated. But the best thing here that I want to introduce is from a customer's side, that it's a 1-2 click purchase, right? They don't have to go to your e-commerce, go to that product page, right within the Instagram platform, they can purchase your product, which is integrated to your, let's say, Shopify inventory system. So why not take advantage of this? If you haven't, I highly recommend you do so. Next slide, please. I might have mentioned this every time I meet local businesses going to Japan. This is the only way Japanese people communicate, to be honest with you. When you continue your engagement, of course, building your followers in Instagram and Facebook is important. I'm not telling you to stop that. But if there's an opportunity for you again, when the tourism comes slowly but surely comes back, you start to engage more with the Japanese, you go to the Hankyu Fair again next year, install your Line app. 95% of the Japanese people use it. It's their way to sort of stay in touch. It's very similar or exactly the same as WhatsApp. But the advantage here that I've always tried to explain to local businesses here in Hawaii is when they become friends with you, right? Let's say the Japanese they friend you, which is following you. And let's say you have 10 or 15 of those friends online on the Line app. Let's say you want to offer something special, something exclusive to those Japanese-based friends that you gained. You have leftover 10 products, prints, aloha shirts, jewelry, whatnot, and they're popular. It's popular, but you only have 10 left in your inventory. You want to get rid of it. How about lining them, texting them, telling them, hey, this is an exclusive offer just to you. There's only 10 left of these, and you guys have the first dip on these 10 leftover products or 10 left products within 48 hours. And it's not like emailing. It's not like DMing in Instagram. You can directly text them, ping them through Line if they're friends with you. So they'll get a notification right away on their screen without any waiting time. So again, you don't want to overuse this, but again, it's an amazing, it's a text messaging marketing tool, which is very highly effective. It exists here in the US, not that, but it's just not using this particular app. You gotta collect phone numbers and all this kind of stuff. It gets very complicated, and with the rights that you have to use with the Line, with that permission of them being your friend, it's very easy to use, execute, and continue with that exclusive relationship with your Japanese customer base. Next slide, please. Again, here, this is just the statistics, the data that shows 94.9% last 2023 is the percentage of how many Japanese people use this app. Next slide, please. E-newsletters, email marketing, especially if you're a retail, and if we're all in the retail side of things. We always get asked, how effective is email marketing? Sending your customers that are signed up to your e-newsletter. How effective is that in Japan? And when it comes to retail, it is effective. So the column, the bar all the way to the left, the dark blue is for the e-newsletter. All the way to the right is, Lyle, can you read the age range? Or if you can, is there a way? At the bottom, there's an age range where all the way to the right is the high higher age level versus I think it's from maybe
Sorry,
40.
it's 51 to 65 is massively email. Yeah,
Yeah.
email, website, searchable engine ad. This is phone calls. But 51 to 65, the next is 36 to 50. This is 25 to 35, and this is 18 to 24.
So the older you are in Japan, they're very accepting in receiving emails. The younger you get, they just want to be left alone on emails, and they're probably on DM, Instagram, or Line or other apps to communicate. But so you got to consider, who bought, right, or who's buying your product, what age range. Considering that, you may want or not want to do email, right? So this is a very important factor of considering if you want to create emails for your Japanese audience. And I think this is very similar to the US market too. I don't know about the age range on the US market, but this is for the Japan market. The older you are, the more accepting you are with email marketing. Next slide, please. Again, digital advertising now. What kind of advertising do we recommend with the type of products you have retail wise? Definitely, so Meta ads, Instagram and Facebook ads would be very effective, I think, for shopping online. The Japanese, again, we saw most of the people engaging at the fair last month, at least from what we saw, they were on Instagram and Facebook. So if you're gonna consider any online advertising, I would first look into these two platforms. Now, next slide, please. Another is Google and Yahoo Japan. What we found over the years is if you are, as a customer, searching, I want to buy Hawaiian Aloha shirt. I want to buy Hawaii product. I want to buy Hawaii prints, made in Hawaii products. If you're searching that online, you're in the buying cycle already, right? So you're reaching out. I mean, social media is enticing people to want to buy, but there may be a bit of a delay in because there may not be necessarily in that buying cycle, right? But if you're searching, typing in buy, purchase, Aloha goods, Hawaii made prints, whatever it may be, they're already in that buying cycle. So it's, again, social media ads would be more of an awareness advertisement to get as many people to get to know you with the interest level that they have for a type of product that you have. But and then with that awareness going on, you may want to strategize a online search advertising using either Google or Yahoo. I'm introducing Google here is because obviously Google is the major search engine. But if you can go to the next slide, Yahoo Japan also has a search system, and also it's the same idea of search advertisement, just like what you see on Google. It's the same format on Yahoo when people in Japan use Yahoo Japan as a search function, search feature. The percentage of people that use Yahoo is a lot lower than Google. I would say at best 17 to 20% use Yahoo Japan as a search function. But again, you have to consider, who are those 17, 20%? What we see in our data is the Yahoo users tend to be older. I would say 35 and up, 40 and up. So again, if you're hyper-focused in that age level, older crowd, let's say, older age demographic, you may, even though that 17% to 20 is a lot lower than that 80% Google, you're hyper-focused at that age range, and you're using keyword search strategies to target those that may be interested in your brand. So again, Two, search options, Google being the dominant, but Yahoo being that, again, the search capacity is low, but I'm explaining here on this slide is that they are the biggest news portal, let's say. 88% of all smartphone users come to get daily news. So they do engage a lot of the population. People use this because Google doesn't provide daily news and finance and all that kind of stuff. Google is just a search site, where Yahoo not only has that search function, but it also gives news, tips, what to do, where to travel, what to buy. It's an informational portal, so people use this platform also. So again, those are the consideration if you're looking to advertise. Next slide, please. I'm going to go fast now. This is another feature that Shopify was selling, but you can list your products for free on Google. If you can go to the next. I don't know if you've seen these types of search results, but you don't have to pay. You can showcase your products in a way that you configure using your e-commerce system and your admin, that you can register and have your products readily available on Google search when people are using the Google shopping feature. Something to look into, because right now they're not charging. I have a high feeling that they will start to charge this when they start to see volume or people taking advantage, or businesses taking advantage of this. So we highly recommend. I don't think that there are too many people. This came out, I would say, 2-3 years ago. So it's been around for a little while. So we're always looking into this, seeing how Google is going to develop this for businesses. Next slide. So this is the end. Again, we for all the reasons that I've spoke to you today, we highly recommend participating in the next year's Hankyu Fair if you can, and also look into other events that happen in Japan. TIGS, the gift show that's happening next month, and other events that are happening, especially during the summertime, summertime. I would look into those, research them, and see if there's an opportunity to attend, to do the same thing that we just explained today on how to engage and create more Japanese customers for your business. Get your e-commerce ready, your e-commerce website ready, because not only the things that we talked about today to retain and take advantage of that momentum that you have now from Hankyu, but the tourists are coming back, right? Like this summer, honestly, we're still at 60% back pre-COVID. But last time I saw was about 4,000 people coming to Japan every day, from Japan to Hawaii every day. And it's just going to keep growing, especially when the yen gets stronger. So you want to make sure that on your website, let them know where your products are available in Hawaii when they come. If you have a store, of course, let them know where your location is. And if there's other retail boutiques that have your products available, list them out, have that available in Japanese. Again, the About Us that we mentioned and creating that content, that's going to be the window of opportunity for you. So think about that, on how to best create that. And I think that's it from me today.
Great. Okay, so a lot of information. I think a lot of things that you all did preparing. Of course, Danielle and John, it was your first time to Hankyu, but we'd like to open up to questions, any feedback that you'd like to share with us right now. I will send a form. So a lot of us aren't able to join, for the recent Hankyu cohort, but I'm sending a form out to everyone so that they'll get this recorded session, but then they'll also be able to give us feedback, because that is important for us to continue supporting yourselves but also too for Hankyu, right? For Hankyu, for importers, for of course DBED as a whole. I just came off of a call this morning with our sister agency, Department of Ag, and working with a company. So there's a lot of people involved in this, and you can take advantage of different things. So just want to open it up. Danielle, John, you guys have anything you'd like to ask or share right now?
Dee, do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Go ahead. You go first.
Well, I was making some notes as we were going through the highlights and Ted's presentation. So I guess my first question is, does DBET support and work with other department stores? Because there's another department store that contacted us. And somebody from Tokyo came to Danielle and said, your pieces are too small, which was kind of a shock, and your prices are too low, which was also kind of a shock. But we don't know who he is, and I mean, we're gonna have to do some research on him. But does DBET work with other fairs like this?
Yes. So what we're trying to do is we're actually, I was just talking to Reiko about this. We're grading the various events. Hawaii events have been going on forever, and Hankyu 10 years. They're the best one. There are other ones that it's fantastic when people come to you, right? And they're saying, and they're sharing feedback and everything. And so trying to give you a way to vet them and say, yeah, this would be a good opportunity. Obviously for yourself, who your target is, or you have an idea of who your target is, and, maybe start engaging them as well and saying, who comes, right? How long is it? All that kind of stuff. So we'll kind of organize some things. Definitely when we go offline or the individual meeting, let's talk about that, because it'd be very interesting to hear that comment about too small, too low price, things like that. So very important feedback. Short answer, yes, we are working on, and in fact, excuse me, Hankyu is working on a external fair program. So we had 3 this year in different cities outside of Osaka. Next year is going to be at least 4, maybe 5. And it's just going to keep growing. And so they're going to have this potential to really take the model of Hankyu Fair, take it to another city, and hopefully at the same quality, to do that. And so the best way to replicate is like, who's your best success, right? And then let's take that to on the road, right? So I think, Hankyu is going to do it. There's other, other retail opportunities that just keep growing and growing as we move along. So most definitely there's going to be more opportunities. Again, it's going to be up to you in terms of your target. Really understand who your customer is, who's buying your products, and where you want to be positioned, because both of you, your companies, your brands are higher end, right? You don't belong in a convenience store, right? So how do you differentiate? I would even say Aloha Tokyo. I don't know if you're going to be at Aloha Tokyo, right? Outside, whatever. I mean, but maybe you have some small things that you can sell. I don't know. We'll have to kind of get more criteria and data from everybody to start saying with more certainty. But as we go forward, definitely for 2025, we're going to start planning like that and saying, okay, you may want to consider these things. Yeah, you may want to consider trying, because the opportunity is you go to Hankyu, and then maybe right after that is Takashimaya in Osaka, Takashimaya in Kyoto, right? And you go on a road show yourself, right? So it's an opportunity for you to go and see the country and see the market and stuff. Yeah. Ted, anything to add on this? Okay.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to downgrade any other department stores, but just be honest, what I've heard from the big players that I met at Hankyu is that the great thing about Hankyu is compared to other events or other department store events is that the made in Hawaii brands and products are most prominent at Hankyu. And they told me, hey, go try Takashimaya or go try other department store. You're gonna see higher percentage of made in Japan Hawaii products rather than made in Hawaii products. Now, I don't know. I honestly been dedicated to Hankyu, and a few more, which in, like in Tokyo and Shibuya stuff, HIS type of stuff, and there are some great ones too out there, right? That are very dedicated to the importance of made in Hawaii. But just from what I've heard, with the experience that I didn't have, that Hankyu probably has the highest percentage of made in Hawaii true authentic products.
That's also because of Lyle and DBED.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if Lyle and DBED were to actually push Takashimaya and they actually had a more of a relationship with DBED, I think Takashimaya could have more made in Hawaii products there.
Well, you know, they were one of the stores that came to us, and yeah, we spoke to, I think, the vice president, the executive vice president of their Hawaii fair, who said that they're smaller right now, but they see the success that Hankyu's had, and they want to increase their exposure in that area. So,
Sure.
I mean, that's one of them, but I mean, there's obviously more research that has to occur. Yeah, I agree, Aaron. If this is Aaron speaking, I'm assuming it is. Okay. All right. So my next question was when you were talking about following up with Japanese customers, one of the things that we found was that Hankyu has a very limited allowance to receive information on their customers. It's proprietary to them. And Danielle had a couple situations where she was shipping things. Because she was going to be shipping them from Hawaii, she needed to get their email address and their snail mail address and their residence and things of that. And Hankyu was not happy about that. So if there's some way that we can work with Hankyu in the future to be able to receive that information, maybe sign some kind of an agreement that it's only used for, Hawaii products and it's not to be given out, etc.
Right. Yeah. If I can speak on that, if I can speak on that, I think that's a very limited case. I think most likely when you engage with a customer, you're going to engage with the customer directly. Yeah. You don't have to go through Hankyu. I think this is about your high-end customers, I think. And so that's a different situation. But normally you should be able to, like Ted was saying, to engage with them online and to go through that. So let's speak about that separately. Yeah. In general,
there is one thing about that is that I was trying to do a giveaway where I would have to take emails from people, which I do here in Hawaii often. And that's like a way to, gain email and contacts as well. And Hankyu said that we were not allowed to do that. So
right. So
maybe if there's a way that they are allow us to do it per a social media situation or something of that sort, then that would be helpful to us as well.
I think what you're touching on is a very, Japanese are very conservative in terms of privacy. And so they're very careful about that. So I think emails are seen as something very private. Social is the same, but they're definitely pushing their Instagram account. And so maybe if there's a way to, and we'll be working with Hankyu on this because of their push, because they're brick and mortar, they're going to be pushing to online.
Right.
That's their strategy. So definitely social media. And so doing it in a way so that we can anonymize it, if you will, or just reduce the risk of that kind of individual information kind of thing is something. So that's a strategic thing that we'll be talking about with Hankyu, and definitely try to work that out with companies going forward. So you bring up a very good point, because you are trying to engage. You should be able to get that. How does that work? You know, we have to get the parameters set up, and then everybody should be all kosher in that. Yeah, but good point.
That makes it much more profitable for the retailers that are there to. I mean, certainly we don't want to do anything that is against their rules, which there are an awful lot of. But at the same time, we want to be able to sell to these people outside of Hankyu on a direct basis, and that's what they're trying to prevent, I think.
No, they're not trying to do that. You have to be sensitive to the point that what they want to do is they want to sell at Hankyu now.
Right.
And so you have to be careful in how you position it, because there have been instances in the past where you had a coupon or you had something online, and the customer could say, "Oh, I'm not going to buy a Hankyu. I'm going to go do this instead."
Right.
And so that's what they're trying to prevent.
Okay.
After the fact, once they buy from you at Hankyu, anything goes, right? Is how it should be. But customers coming to Hankyu right now, sell them at Hankyu, and then talk about engagement going forward. So there's that sort of area where's the handoff, where's the line, if you will, right? Because we had instances of that happen before. So it's not we'll get to the bottom of it, because it's something that we need to really clarify what's official, you know, what's the timing, right? Et cetera, et cetera. And this is apparel, accessories, all kinds of stuff. So it's not a problem. You guys are doing what you're supposed to do. We'll figure it out so that everybody is happy. Yeah. But good point. Thank you.
My next question to you, Ted, is on that Line app. If we do something in English, does it have a translate feature?
On the
On
line. On the line
like when you
app.
were talking about
The Line app is
sending.
not very good at translating.
Yeah.
No. Okay. All right.
Google's much better.
Okay.
Yeah, Meta and Google is much better. I don't think at Line, because Line is really for Japanese people amongst Japanese. That feature isn't emphasized as much.
Okay. So then my next question is on Google search. Well, when you were talking about the e-commerce on Google search, is it only through e-commerce? I mean, like you said, we're talking about Shopify. I mean, could a vendor, a retailer get on to Google search and put some product on there directly, or does it have to go through e-commerce?
You have to have an e-commerce system to go on. They're just facilitating how to get to your e-commerce. That's what Google's doing. So if you're searching for, you know, Hawaiian prints in Japanese, let's say, right? Their Google is just making it more easily available for Google's users to your product. Okay. So unless you don't have an e-commerce set up, you can't be listed. Got
it. Okay. The last question I have is more personal with Danielle, but when you were talking before, Lyle, about Yohei Ohtani, have you had any conversation with him about taking on additional artists? Because we did have a brief conversation with him. And his comment was, you know, I have 40 artists and I want to make sure in Hawaii, and I want to make sure that we service them properly, that we, you know, provide the best quality service. And they didn't want to take any more artists on. Mm-hmm. Is that, have you spoken to that
no
direct
we
issue or not?
We have not. Okay. So what we've done is we started talking organization. What are they doing? Because I know of them. I haven't participated in any of the things that they've done. They're tremendous. 10 years, you know, gallery, right? 20 years, green room, you know, et cetera, et cetera. It's a great partner. So depending on what they have, and I don't know if they, you know, if they're for everybody, right? I don't know if they're for you. Yeah. So again, they're the biggest. So we start with them and then we go from there because again, where do you guys go? How do you say? Who's your target really, right? Who's your target customer? And what is your channel? And then that's what you have to explore. You started
For
at
sure.
Hankyu. You started at Hankyu. Now the next thing is maybe Tokyo International Gift Show, but I really think what you need to do is I want to actually get a meeting with you and Larry together because again he's my go-to guy, and see what he can share. You know, if he's open for it, right? You know, to get whatever intelligence you can from him, because I think you're talking about galleries and other, you know, we can explore other retail and all that kind of stuff, but you know, you need to have that importer, which is always the sticking point, right? The difficulty. Yeah. So,
Well, but it doesn't
Well,
have to be an importer. It could be a distributor.
But I
well,
think
doesn't
somebody,
have-
some
yeah.
Japanese company in Japan needs to be
Right.
that import function.
Our entree. Right. Yeah.
The import
don't-
function
Well,
has to be the thing. Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
Yohei, when we were talking to him, was saying that he doesn't have room for me in his gallery here as Green Room Hawaii, but I'm not really looking for that right now here. And maybe there is
Yeah.
possibility of going with them there, but like I'm a very different world of what they have, which could
Yeah.
be great,
Mhm.
could be not great. So it's
Mhm.
this is also something we probably can talk to when other, you know, people who don't need to worry about our stuff is on the phone.
When
But I
Yeah.
when
did
Yeah.
yeah when
have
I
one
speak
question.
yeah when I speak with him, I'll definitely ask him, and then you know, going forward, you know, you should follow up with him.
Yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
have one question for Ted about Instagram, the C Translate feature, because I use it all the time for all of my Japanese followers. Like if we have anything, is there something that you have to put to have that happen? Or is that just like an immediate when somebody's has Instagram turn on in Japanese, then it will just translate? Or do I have to like tag it every time?
It happens automatic on your customer side,
Okay.
right? Like for instance, that screenshot that I showed you, I was purposely on a Korean account
Okay.
from one of our client and went to an English profile.
Okay. So I
And
don't have
then-
to do anything for my stuff to translate for other people.
You don't have to do anything for them to have this translation feature.
Okay, cool.
You
Okay.
may have to though, if you want to translate your profile on your bio on your profile page.
Yeah, then we have to do that manually.
Yeah, you have to turn something on in your account.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That was the
No,
only question.
That's all
had.
that I had.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank
I
you
will
very
add-
much.
Can I add
Yeah.
one thing though? I would like to
Yeah.
just say that I had an extremely wonderful experience, and I appreciate all of your help and everything that you guys were able to do. And I see that Reiko may have joined the call. So Reiko as well, I enjoy meeting you all and appreciate how much you helped. And I really look forward to continuing to be a part of Hankyu festivals for years to come, and like anything else I can get my hands on, I'm all in. So
Yeah,
thank
you know, we're so happy for you guys. You know, again, great to see. I'm actually, it's really funny because Hankyu itself was just phenomenal. And you know, first time they did 2 weeks, and they're just like, hey, first week we did really well, and then like the Wednesday, the first day, hey, we did really well. I was like, oh my God, you know, we're setting up like, you know, these expectations are too high, right? So for you folks too, like now's the time, okay, really drill down into what are the keys to success, because as you know, art is so hard, but you started good. So let's try to, you know, ride the momentum and see what we can do. Definitely reach out to Yohei. You don't have to wait for me. I think go talk to Yohei directly and
Okay.
see what he has, you know, in mind. we're definitely, talking to them. We want to talk to the art people at Hankyu, right? Because they're going to be undergoing like some renovation changes. What is the positioning of art in the fair, online, all these things strategically, yeah, because I think art has so much more potential for growth, right? It's emotional aspirational benefit, and I think there's going to be a lot of room, and so it'd be great to see how you want to see your company grow as well in terms of the products that you offer, the kinds of things. I think you probably know this, but Lauren has been there all 10 years, right? Heather has been there all 10 years. Nick has done really well. There's other up and coming artists. Sarah Cottle, she's done tremendously, being in Japan. So I think you can see the potential, and definitely want to keep it moving forward. So let's do it. Let's keep it going.
Well, I look forward to it. So thank
Right.
you.
And that is our game plan, Lyle.
Sounds good. Sounds good. We'll keep it moving forward. But thank you so much for joining. And this is a good wrap up by Ted, and I appreciate your feedback. I will send a form. We have something for the people who didn't participate, but I'll send it out to you guys too. And then we'll just keep gathering more specifics, company specific stuff, and keeping it confidential. But then we'll aggregate things as a whole and stuff. Yeah.
Lyle,
So thank you, Rico. Yeah.
Lyle, quickly, is there some way that just Danielle and I can stay on here now to talk with you a little bit about some of the issues we had, or?
Yeah, we can't right now because I got to meet with Ted and Reiko. So, but
Okay.
let's definitely schedule something. I don't know which week, but because I'll be leaving for TIGS, let's find a time. Maybe if you and Danielle can give us your schedule the next couple of weeks, and then see if it's something that we can do a little bit later than now. Just because I'm heading to Tokyo. I'm trying to wrap up Hankyu, and I'm heading to Tokyo right away. So let's see the urgency. Yeah, if you can let me know specifically.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, you give us kind of your schedule, because Dan, if we're going to do this on Zoom, we can pretty much work out a time without too many issues, I think.
Okay.
So when you get back from Tokyo.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, that'll help a lot. Appreciate that.
All right. Maybe I'll send you an email just to give you a reminder in your inbox.
Send me an email, and then we can definitely work on that. That'll be perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you guys. Really, really happy for you guys. So
thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
So gratifying.
Thank you for all your help and your inspiration.
Great. Glad to hear that. Thanks.
All right. Thank
you.
you.
Much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye,
Ted. Bye, Reiko.
Bye-bye.
Bye.